Oh, there's a giant squirrel. Holy crap. I thought it was a cat. There's a big squirrel. Where's he going? Oh, he's going way far away. I'm not even going to be able to catch that on camera. Anyway. ADHD. There's another one! Oh no, that's a leaf. What up everybody, get your girl MC here, back with another video. And as you can tell, I'm in nature. I came here to a waterfall today. Because why? Because it's beautiful. And I wanted to experience a little bit of nature. Now nature and I aren't typically friends. I don't do bugs, but it's the tail end of stick season, aka winter. And there's not really a lot of bugs. I did run into a lot of spider webs up here. But I haven't seen any spiders. And if I find one in my car later while I'm driving home, I'm probably gonna it. So this is I'm out here to make this video for a purpose, for a reason. I have been losing weight on my own accord, purposely. And I want to talk about it because it is not something that just started happening overnight. It is not something that I just woke up one day and decided, okay, yeah, I don't want to be big anymore. I'm just going to lose weight. This is something that is going to be extremely vulnerable for me. And, you know, that was kind of the whole point of starting making videos of this process, was because it is vulnerable, but it's also something that, like, for me to look back on in years to come and see where I was and understand like how far I've gone and how far I will go. With that being said, this could be triggering to some people, especially if you're like me and you've struggled your entire life with weight or eating disorders or body image dysmorphia, things like that. Then this could be very triggering, so just keep that in mind. The biggest thing I want to say right now is rock bottom is a blessing. If you are currently at rock bottom or you feel like you're getting to rock bottom, let it happen. Go to rock bottom. And I'll tell you why. Rock bottom was where it finally all clicked for me. And I finally started to see just how bad I was. And it's what made me want to change. So, many of you know, some of you probably don't, but many of you know that January of 2023, I found out I had 3 herniated discs in my back. And I was actually at the point where I couldn't walk. We would go into grocery stores and I would have to get those like electric wheelchairs because I just couldn't do it. And at the time I was 26 years old, I was like embarrassed. I was like, I'm 26 years old, this should not be something I have to do. I shouldn't have to grab the electric wheelchair, I should just be able to walk. Fine. And so the end of January 2023, I had back surgery. And during the recovery process, it was one of the darkest moments of my life. First of all, I had a spinal fluid leak, so I had to lay flat for 5 days straight while it drained. Not fun. I wasn't allowed to like get up more than 20 degrees, which if you don't know, it's just basically like your shoulders are off the bed and that's about it. Nor did I want to, because it was incredibly painful. And the day the physical therapist came in to get me to stand up for the first time, first of all, I almost fainted. And I've never fainted in my life before, but at that moment I knew, I was like, I'm gonna pass out and vomit. I didn't vomit, but I did almost pass out. The entire time I just kept thinking, would this be a lot easier if I wasn't almost 300 pounds? And, you know, as somebody who's been a big person their whole life, it's hard to imagine a life where I'm not big. You know, I mean, I've never been like a size small or extra small or whatever, but it's not necessarily something that like I was supposed to. So at that point, that kind of triggered a whole different thought process for me. It wasn't something that, you know, it's not like I didn't constantly think about it. I did. And no brainer, the answer is yes. 1,000%. I wouldn't have had as much weight to push up on. It would have been easier. Now, I'm not saying it would have been perfect. God, by no means, no. But it would have definitely been easier. And so, for the next couple weeks to the next couple months after that surgery is when I really started to kind of hone in on how I feel about my weight, what are my weight loss goals, how do I feel about recovery in the sense of back surgery, because, you know, the muscles in my back didn't really heal for like 6 to 8 months afterwards. I mean, I was cleared to go to work, but it didn't it wasn't fully ready. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I wore a back brace for a really long time. And I did little things here and there. I modified some things. I stopped eating a ton of pasta, because pasta is always my kryptonite. You know, and I started doing little things, but I didn't fully commit. It wasn't, you know, I signed up for that Tough Mudder, and I did the Tough Mudder, but also at the same time, the thought process was still there. It's like, would that Tough Mudder have been easier had I not been so big? You know, when I did the Tough Mudder, I was like 280, 281-ish, something like that, and it was hard. I did not train nearly as diligently as I would like to, as I wanted to, and it shows, because that Tough Mudder, although it was the most rewarding thing I've ever done for my physical health, it did take me 4 hours to do a 5K Tough Mudder, which, given the obstacles, understandable. But also at the same time, like, I can't, like, I feel like I could have just done it better. I don't know, I feel like I pushed myself, don't get me wrong, but there were a lot of obstacles that I just kind of went around. Like things of pulling myself up and climbing on things, and, you know, I was honestly just too scared to do it. And during all this, I started to develop really bad stomach problems. You know, I thought I was just, you know, my food allergies were catching up to me or something of the sort, and it was getting bad. Like, I was driving equipment at work, like forklifts and stuff, and I had to stop driving equipment because I would get dizzy, I would get nauseous, I would feel like I was going to pass out, and I felt safer not being on equipment. And from that, it led to multiple doctor's appointments of getting blood work done, unfortunately having to get stool samples. You know, it's very, like, gross TMI things had to happen. And they found out that I had a fatty liver. And for somebody who does not drink alcohol, I've maybe had a handful of drinks in my entire life at almost 28 years old. And I shouldn't have a problem with my liver. And that kind of stuck out to me for a little bit. And then after a while, it faded away. We also thought I had celiac for a while. And that's going to come up again in a minute, so just stay tuned for that. But, you know, it was a process, right? So I got off of the equipment at work, and they put me in an area where I was literally just stacking boxes all day. And that's what I'm still doing right now. I just stack boxes all day. And these are heavy boxes. Some of them are like 40 to 60 pounds. They're not light, okay? And it was probably about, I want to say the end of November, when I was like, what if I just saw how strong I was? I was like, what if I just started doing push-ups every day? And just doing them. And so I did a few, like, couple days of, like, test push-ups, you know, deciding, like, how I want to do push-ups, if I'm going to do push-ups, was I going to add a new push-up every day, XYZ, right? So I started doing these push-ups, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to see any difference. I really don't, especially because I'm not good at push-ups, and I didn't think I was strong. And now today I'm about to film day 88 of push-ups straight, and that's a big deal for me. I don't care if they're still modified. The fact that I've kept it consistent this long is a huge freaking deal to me. January 1st rolls around, right? And I'm like, okay, like, every day is New Year's technically, because it'll be a year from now, will be a year, obviously. So I was like, maybe I start making a new goal, a new resolution every single day. And the biggest one I chose to was to finally commit to myself fall in love with myself, commit to loving myself, and see where that goes. And, you know, it started for a while, and I wasn't 100% committed, though. I was telling myself I was, but I wasn't. And then February came around. I'm missing a key detail in all of this. Okay, so the key detail that I have failed to mention is that during all of this, I started to get closer to my faith. And that's very important, because what I'm about to tell you is literally the source of when I started seeing success. So back in October, I had a friend tell me, like, I was talking to them about my anxieties and things like that, and they were like, well, why don't you just go to church? When's the last time you went to church? And I was like, that's a good point. So I went to church, and I went consistently for a couple weeks straight. And then I kind of fell off because I got busy at work and, you know, XYZ life, blah, blah, blah. And this year, February rolls around. February is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day also happened to be Ash Wednesday. And if you guys know anything about Catholic faith, is that during Lent, it starts on Ash Wednesday, and you have a Lenten sacrifice. You basically give up one of your most indulgent things for the 40 days, and you know, you sacrifice it, right? It's literally the name of the thing. So, as I was saying, for me, that was chocolate. And I know you're probably like, Megan, what the hell are you talking about? Let me tell you. When I tell you I didn't know how to stop eating chocolate, I was pretty much just addicted to sugar. I'm not kidding. I was going to the grocery store every single night after work, buying 2 bags of Dove chocolate, and just watching YouTube videos and eating all of it every single night. I put so much sugar in my body that when I finally decided, okay, I'm gonna make this sacrifice, it'll be a good, healthy sacrifice for me, and it'll be, you know, good for my faith practice. When I finally did that, it was, and not that I know what this feels like, but I've watched people who knows what this feels like. It was like when an alcoholic decides to stop drinking alcohol. My skin cleared up. My weight has been dropping continuously. My mood was different. Everything has changed for me. My entire life turned around because I stopped eating chocolate, because the amount of sugar that was in it would be the same amount of sugar as if I was an alcoholic, which I didn't realize. Like, I knew I was eating a lot of sugar, but I didn't know it was that much sugar until I stopped. And that was one of my biggest things currently, because it's what's it, March 16th? It's the day before St. Patrick's Day. It's March 16th. That was February 14th. And I've lost 20 pounds since I've stopped eating sugar. That's insane! On top of, you know, the chocolate thing, I was also binge eating everything. I've talked about it on the channel before. You guys know I have binge eating disorder. It's not exactly a fun obstacle to be dealing with. And I would come home every single night and just eat everything. I know. I'm telling them, don't worry. I know. I'm gonna get to the details, don't you worry. I'm gonna take the wind as, like, God agreed with me. If that makes any sense. I'm a very spiritual person, if you haven't figured that one out yet. But yeah, so then I started making the commitment to not eating after work. And you're like, how do you do that? Well, I eat before I go to work. I eat at my lunch after work, or during work. And then at like 9 o'clock, I go out and I get a snack, or like something little. And then I have an alarm set on my phone for 10 p.m. And I don't let myself eat after 10. So it's basically like, it's almost like intermittent fasting, but I don't want to call it that because I've done intermittent fasting before, and to me it was kind of toxic. I didn't like it, but it is what it is. I think the big question is am I on like any specific medication? The answer is no. Technically no. I have ADHD, I have had ADHD my entire life. I've been medicated pretty much through my entirety of my 20s for it, and I will tell you, I was on Adderall up until May last year, and it just stopped doing what I needed it to do. So we switched to Vyvanse. Unbeknownst to me, Vyvanse has a non-active dairy ingredient in it. Guess who can't have dairy? So I was microdosing dairy, not even knowing it, for months while all this stomach stuff was going on. And so we figured that out, I want to say like end of January, beginning of February, we figured that out. And I was still having all these stomach problems too. So my doctor switched me to a medication called Astaris, which is basically the same thing as Vyvanse, just without the dairy ingredient. It's made by the same manufacturer. And she also put me on a probiotic. And that has helped tremendously. Now my stomach problems have not gone away, but they have been significantly less. I mean, I'm not waking up feeling hungover anymore. Which is also another thing with the chocolate. Like, you know, I used to like wake up feeling like I just, you know, drank as if I was like a college frat boy. Just to be like hungover as heck. And I'm like, I drink so much water, like I don't know like what I'm doing, and like it's 'cause I'm not taking care of myself. Just eating chocolate like crazy. And that was a big thing. That's definitely made a huge impact on me. So, going forward, obviously this is, you know, something that I'm just in the very start of, and I've spent my whole life being a bigger person, and I'm finally at a point now where like I feel like fully committing is literally the most effective things I've ever done in my entire life. I don't necessarily have a plan, but I do have an idea, and that is, I want to learn how to cook, because the only thing I really know how to cook is pasta, and that's not good. And I really wouldn't call that cooking if you're just boiling something. I want to learn how to cook, and I want them to be healthy recipes that are conscious of all of my food intolerances and allergies. I actually just had an appointment with a GI doctor, and I'm actually getting tested for celiac, because after talking with him, he was like, I really don't think it's anything like IBS or anything, I really think like you have an intolerance to something. And I was like, okay. So I'm getting tested for celiac, and you know, I'm just gonna take it every single day with a grain of salt. And you know, so far I'm still seeing results. I'm still seeing, you know, things happen from these modifications that I made. And to be honest with you, when Lent is over, I don't think I'm gonna go back to my old ways. I really don't. These first few weeks of this have been a little intense. You guys saw, I posted, I think it was last week, or 2 weeks ago, about my eating disorder and how I feel like some of the thoughts have been a little bit more intense. And I'm going to chalk that up to something, which sounds absolutely insane, but I'm going to chalk it up to withdrawal. Because I took away the addictions. I took away the sugar. I took away eating at night. All at once. And my brain was like, yo dude, what are we doing? As far as the channel goes, we're going to pivot real quick. As far as the channel goes, I'm excited. I am overjoyed to say that today, we hit 300 subscribers today. I woke up to that and I am so happy. You guys, I am so overwhelmed by the amount of love and support you guys have shown over on TikTok and here. And it has been, you know, I want to say like 99% positive. And I couldn't have asked for a better group. You know, I want to hear your guys' stories too. It does help to read them if you're up for it, if you're confident in it. Please tell me your story. And I know there's probably things I'm leaving out. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head. I didn't want to write this down. I didn't want it to feel scripted. I kind of wanted to just come here and just talk. There's a reason I'm at this waterfall today. I am tired of living my life based off of what ifs, based off of anxiety, based off of fear, based off of just, you know, I'm not going to do that because I don't know the what ifs. I'm done. I'm absolutely done with that. So I have a plan. Whether people are with me or not, I'm going to try to do a new adventure every Saturday. I know a lot of times in the past, Saturdays have just been like, oh, you know, I went out with friends, or I put together my freaking office this past week, or, you know, something. They've always been like that. But we're gonna pivot. I want to see the world. I want to go on adventures. I want to be out in nature and live and experience. You know, I spend my entire days in essentially a metal box. And I don't want to live by the confines of a metal box anymore. I want to take this world for everything it has to offer. I want God to show me where He wants me to go. I want to follow my intuition. I want to follow my heart. I want to bring you guys along with me. With that being said, something that I've always loved, even though nature and I have a love-hate relationship, I've always loved waterfalls. I live in Indiana. Turns out we have a lot of waterfalls. A lot. There's some in Ohio and in Kentucky and in Michigan as well. And I have a list of places I want to go, whether it's a waterfall, a nature trail. I have some stuff planned for October, some haunted stuff. I just want to see everything. I want to do everything, and I know one day it'll be the world, but today and right now, we're gonna just start with Indiana and see where it goes. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for this health journey I'm on, and I'm excited to see where this channel goes. Obviously, you guys know I just bought this camera, and I'm gonna start learning how to edit, and I hope that you guys stick around. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do is to find music artists or YouTubers or somebody who's just starting out and watching them grow and watching them make it, because it makes me feel happy. I love supporting people like that. And yeah, so I hope you guys love supporting me too. Ooh, you know what we can do? If I didn't answer questions fully, if I didn't say something you wanted to hear, we can do a Q&A. So in the comments below in this video, type out your questions. Any questions that you have for my health journey, anything you have for workouts, just let me know. You know, you guys can, you know, I linked my socials in the description. You guys can always reach out to me on there. But I'm excited to see where this takes us, because I have an intuition gut feeling that it's only up from here. This has very quickly become a very public area.